First question is from Svetlana. Is there any point trying to build muscle after 40, or at this point should be focusing more on maintenance, being leaner, and longevity?
Okay, so let's correct this here for a second. Yeah. There is no such thing as just maintaining muscle. Your body is either breaking it down or it's building it. The illusion of maintenance is when breakdown and building tend to be balanced out.
Yeah,
so
they ebb and flow.
Right, so you look like you're kind of the same all the time. But muscles either breaking down or building. There's no such thing as just stagnant. It just stays there. There's also the myth.
You know what's funny about that? It's the same in business.
That's true.
A business is never just cruising or maintaining. You're always growing or dying.
There's no such thing as a snapshot of your body. Let's just maintain that. It doesn't work that way. There's also the myth that longevity is different than trying to build muscle. Now, there's definitely extreme when it comes to building muscle, so you can push it to the extreme where you sacrifice longevity. But for most average people, so we're talking about the average person, not like a bodybuilder, fitness fanatic or whatever, building muscle is one of the best things you could do to improve longevity. It's one of the best things you could do to improve insulin sensitivity. It's one of the best things you could do to maintain mobility and function, maintain a metabolism, which is a buffer against eating a diet in a modern world, which tends to be high in calories. It's one of the best ways to maintain normal, natural, healthy hormone levels. So the goal for the average person who's working out a few days a week in the gym, not talking extreme here, should be to build muscle when you're in the gym. So just go ahead and try and build muscle, and you'll achieve the things that you're asking about. And this whole like after 40 thing, your body never loses the ability to adapt except for when you die. So it can always get stronger. It can always, of course there's a limit, but I trained people in their 70s and 80s for a long time. And I would double and triple the strength because they were sedentary, and then they started doing strength training.
That's why the pursuit for building muscle is always going to be there. You got to always have that top of mind, because like, how are you going to maintain, even just maintaining or progressing movement, like everything in terms of everyday average movement of just getting up and out of your chair, being able to pick things up from the ground that are somewhat heavy and awkward, and like you need to be equipped going forward until your golden age. So it's one of those things you always have to like be conscious of, like, how can I continuously pursue building muscle, because that's my only insurance I have.
Now, we are giving a broad general answer on something that I would want to see this person or know this person to give more specific advice, meaning, like, let's say, I mean, if I was advising one of you guys, let's say you guys hired me as a client, you didn't have all this great trainer knowledge, what about that, right? And I'm talking to you, and even though the truth is everything everybody said is true about you're either building muscle or losing muscle, I would be encouraging you to shift your focus towards longevity, being leaner, being more mobile, and so because I know that you guys have established such a solid foundation of good muscle, that trying to stretch you to build more muscle and that even being a focus
will be sacrificed.
You guys could afford to lose 20 pounds of muscle and still be incredibly strong and fit. And so I don't know what this person looks like, how long they've been lifting, how much of a great muscular base they've built, and do they neglect things like mobility and cardiovascular endurance and stuff like that. And so from that perspective, I might have the conversation might sound different. The rules, the laws still apply that you guys are saying, right. But then the way I communicate it to this person would be different, because I'm going, okay, well, this person has got a lot of muscle already. And so, I don't want you to really focus on that. I want you to focus more on these things, because I think that's going to benefit you.
Ben Pakulski, who just realizes like carrying all this mass is actually
great example.
Something that
but you're talking about like such a small percentage.
I use you guys because you guys aren't quite as extreme example.
Well, even us,
but I mean, there's outliers like that, so it is worth talking about.
Yeah, but the average person, when I say average, I mean like 95% or more. Building muscle, or the pursuit of building muscle, is one of the best things you could do for longevity. If you're already jacked and you've been pursuing building muscle for the last 20 years, then it's more individualized, right? Then look at yourself, look at what you're sacrificing potentially for me to build any more muscle, I'd be sacrificing. I sacrifice longevity now in the pursuit of strength and muscle because that's my passion. It's, call it what you will, my addiction. But for 95% plus, if you put 10 people in front of me, almost all of them or all of them, I'm going to look at them and be like, hey, let's build muscle. That's what's going to give you the best bang for your buck in terms of longevity.
Especially when you say, like, if you're talking general pop, because we're including the
yeah, if this was like the bodybuilding community.
But I mean, even not, it doesn't have to be a bodybuilding community. I mean, I like to think that we have a large audience of people that are fitness enthusiasts. Maybe they're not trainers or bodybuilders, but they listen to this podcast for hours on every week, and so they're fitness enthusiasts. And they maybe some of them have been training. This person's 40. Maybe they've been training for 20 years of their life.
Well, it's more nuanced then, right?
And and built a lot of muscle. Then and so maybe, because what I don't want to tell this person is maybe they're getting this like kind of bell that's ringing and telling them like, I probably should focus on just kind of leaning out and maybe doing some more cardio and focusing on longevity and health because I've been, hammering the weights for 30
powerlifting.
Yeah, 20 years of my life I've been focused on building lots of muscle. I mean, and I say that because this is my current place in my life, kind of like my journey. Like I've built a lot of muscle in 20 years of lifting, and so my focus is more longevity. Now, that doesn't mean that in that pursuit, muscle doesn't get built and lost and does the ebb and flow of what you were alluding to. But when I think about what I'm trying to do overall, I'm considering things like how's my mobility and how's my ability to rotate, and did the getting on the elliptical for 20 minutes practically kill me? Like I needed, what I'm saying? So like I'm factoring that in. I'm not just thinking about building muscle, right. Because I need to shift my focus.
Right, but the reason why it's like for the average person this is so important is the average person is doing zero exercise.
Right.
And the average person will maybe get 2 or 3 days a week of consistent exercise. And within those 2-3 days a week, what should they focus on that'll give them the most bang for their buck? Building muscle.